Parade Marshal Kathy McDonald brings the field out onto the track for tonight's first race. 7 minutes till post time. The track is listed as fast. No changes in the opener. Number 1 is Noble Jamie, owned by Ken Bradley Bell. Sandy Beatty drives. Number 2 is Look Any, owned by Michael Parker with Mike Wilder. 3, Daytime Finale, owned by Carol Melton, Rainsman Dave Miller. 4, Oya, owned by Beverly Landon. Elliot Deaton will be aboard. 5 is Katarina Wick, owned by driver Mark Klotz and Dave Bassler. 6, Spicy Sabra, owned by John Perrin with Darren Mauser. 7 is Ray's Cat, owned by Mark Laffin with Jody Essig. 8 is Favorite Madam, leased by Sharma Kuchbach with Dave Hawk. Number 9 is Primrose B, owned by Ed Bailey with David Myers. 10, Logistics, owned by Ramon Perez. Bob Harper will be in the sulky. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Look Any takes the lead. Favorite Madam with a rush on the far outside. Oya between the dueling leaders is into third with Noble Jamie fourth. They're down the backstretch. Katarina Wick skates up on the outside, fifth. Logistics moves in to be sixth on the rail. Midway on the turn, Daytime Finale. As they roll to the quarter-mile pole, Primrose B. After that, Spicy Sabra and Ray's Cat as they race by the opening quarter in. 28 seconds flat off that top turn, racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Oya's there by a half a length. Driving up on the outside, Look Any now gets the lead. Look Any moves away on top by a length and a half. Oya succumbs to second. Favorite Madam's going to try it again. Around the clubhouse turn, Noble Jamie is in the fourth. Moving up on the outside, Daytime Finale to fifth. They're at the half-mile pole. Look Any continues to lead the way. Favorite Madam, the big mile so far in second. Oya in third. Daytime Finale parked and driving fourth. Noble Jamie in fifth. Katarina Wick doing a double axel along the rail in sixth. Primrose B is up on the outside. 7, Spicy Sabra, the Gray Logistics. Ray's Cat rides the tailgate, 58-4. They're hub to hub as they rock and roll to three-quarters. Leaders are heads apart. Oya along the outside along with Look Any driving up on the outside. Favorite Madam. Those three all together in 1:28-1. Moving around the far turn. Look Any on top. Fouled up on the far outside by Daytime Finale. Favorite Madam gives way in the center. Oya trying to fight back on the rail there into the stretch. Look Any has now opened up a commanding lead. Look Any on top by a good margin. Daytime Finale is no match. The battle's going to be for the Scioto. Look Any, Daytime Finale, and Favorite Madam will hold on third. Look Any, 6-year-old bay mare by Look Sharp out of Ranchwood Annie. Owned in Chillicothe by Michael Parker, trained by Rick Heitman. Hard driven tonight by Mike Wilder, covering the mile here in 1:57-1. Number 2, Look Any, the unofficial winner of tonight's first race. Billy Taylor in the group from VFW post number 3764 in the winner's circle. Number 1 is Center Ridge Runner, owned by George Howry with Jody Essig. Number 2, Tucson Bridget, owned by Glenn Bird with David Myers. 3, Scent of a Macho, owned by Keith Noble with Brett Merkel. 4, Falcon Ground, owned by Keith Ross and Steiner Stock Farm. Bob Harper will be aboard. 5, Amy Q, owned by Randy and Kim Owens. Michael Irwin and Ross Chambers with David Miller. 6, You Betcha I Beat Ya, owned by James Cunningham and the Our Little Stable with Dan Ader. 7 is Jory, leased by Judy Nixon and Norma Boggs with Mike Wilder. Number 8 is Towner's Tootsie, owned by James Foley with Hugh Beatty Jr. 9, Abercrow Deborah, owned by Henry Josevic with Mark Evers. Number 10, Jan Scooter, has been scratched sick. Running gate is underway. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Center Ridge Runner is off stride. Tucson Bridget takes the lead. Falcon Ground, middle of the racetrack, and there goes You Betcha I Beat Ya, flying up on the far outside. Down the backstretch, Son of a Macho gets away in fourth. Off the pace comes Amy Q in fifth. Jory followed by Towner Scooter. After that, Abercrow, Deborah, and the early breaker Center Ridge Runner. Pretty torrid clip here as they roll to the opening quarter-mile pole. Bobby Harper with Falcon Ground get the opening quarter call. Quick 27-2. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Falcon Ground bouncing along a length and a half. On her heels in second, You Betcha I Beatcha. Tucson Bridget stays in. Here comes the big mare. Amy Q up on the outside. Fourth, Son of a Macho skimming the pylons in fifth. Underway, Jory on the outside. Towner's Tootsie set sail from the rail. Abercrow, Deborah, and the rail filly. Center Ridge Runner, they're at the half. Falcon Ground and Amy Q, the top two, they're at the half in 58-2. Straightening out for their long journey down the backstretch. Falcon Ground, the 8-5 pick, Jiggy jogging a length and a half. Amy Q better be good from here. She's first up. Along the rail, You Betcha I Beatcha. Here comes Jory live cover. Shuffle back to China, Tucson Bridget. On the far outside, Towner's Tootsie. Nearest the rail, Son of a Macho. Up on the outside, Abercrow, Deborah, and Center Ridge Runner. Side by side and stride for stride, barreling by three-quarters. 127-4 around the far turn. Falcon Ground leads the way. Amy Q, Jory's three deep on the outside. You Betcha I Beatcha. Tucson Bridget needs Smokey Robinson and the Miracles from here. Racing through the stretch. Falcon Ground, Amy Q, Jory first to the passing lane. You Betcha I Beatcha. Here comes Tucson Bridget with a rush. Here comes Tucson Bridget to get the lead. Two, Tucson Bridget, 4-year-old bay mare by Tucson Hanover out of Bridget Bardall. Owned and trained in Delaware by Glenn Berg, given a ground-saving journey up the passing lane on the pylons by David Myers. Covering that mile in 157-3. She's back on another streak. Number 2, Tucson Bridget, the winner of tonight's second race. Windows are now up and on race 3. First of 2, Superfecta. No changes in the third. Like to welcome Randall K. Ferguson, VFW post number 11. 2-4 exacta, $20.80, $20.80. The try, $138.20. Daily double on 2 and 2, 2-2 double, $53. Here's the field for the third race. Superfecta and exacta, number 1, Matching Rocky. Owned by Asum Paysum Stables and Jeff Rector, driven by Brad Hanners. 2, Kells of Gold, owned by Jake Shaw, Robert Pryor, Randy Tharps drives. 3, Brooklets Dally, owned by Ralph Garrett and Christina Gallops with Mike Wilder. 4, Flash Paper, owned by John Perrin. Jody Essig will be aboard. 5, Osborne's Big Gal, owned by Ray Kornprobst and Ron Winters, driven by Darren Mauser. 6, Pure Magic, owned by Jan and Ken Adamski with Mark Rismore. Number 7 is Sea Power, owned by the Maple Valley Farm with David Miller. 8 is Nona Bluegrass, leased and driven by Jason Brewer. 9, Copper and Tin, owned by Bill Aldrich with Dave Hawk. 10, Jazzy Jackie Ann, owned by driver Mark Klotz and Jeanette Dar. That's the field for the third and the Superfecta. Field is now in motion. And there they go. Field of 10 on their way, middle of the racetrack. Pure Magic takes the lead. In between horses, Kells of Gold and Matching Rocky. Driving up on the far outside, here comes Copper and Tin to get the lead. Copper and Tin drives away for Dave Hawk by 2. Pure Magic is in the second, Matching Rocky third, Kells of Gold, hoping things will pan out from fourth. Brooklets Deli, after that comes Flash Paper as they make their way to the quarter-mile pole. Driving away on top in 28 seconds flat from the outside. Pure Magic brushes to the front. Here comes Matching Rocky up on the outside to get the lead. Copper and Tin is back to third. Kells of Gold fourth. Brooklets Dolly in fifth. The Chestnut Jazzy Jackie Ann sixth. Underway, Osborne's Big Gal seventh. Flash Paper is eighth. Sea Power's up on the outside, and the newcomer Nona Bluegrass can't go on. She's gapping 10th and last. They're at the half, and Matching Rocky will get them there in 56-4. Speeding down the backstretch. Matching Rocky bouncing along a length and a half. Kells of Gold to the outside second. Pure Magic will sit the pocket in third. Brooklets Dally the Satchmo Journey to fourth. Followed by Copper and Tin in fifth. Osborne's Big Gal into contention. Sea Power Racing up on the outside toward the rail, Jazzy Jackie Ann. Flash Paper yet to get on fire from 9/10 on the outside. Nona Bluegrass by 3/4, a quick 1:26 and 2. Around the far turn, Matching Rocky, Kells of Gold, Pure Magic, desperately waiting for the passing lane. Sea Power, though, might get the jump on her, racing up on the far outside. We got a ding-dong battle going here. It's Matching Rocky, Pure Magic on the far outside, Sea Power, and Kells of Gold. Sea Power gets the lead. To welcome the VFW Post 495 and Terry L. Collins. Superfecta 9:49.60. The Super 9:49.60. Tonight's fourth race as they pray to the post. 6 minutes till post time. First leg of the early pick 3. 1, Right Moves Macho, owned by Joshua Green, driven by Randy Tharps. 2, Lona, owned by John Sturba and Harry Berger with Darren Mauser. 3, Patty Ty, owned by E. Bruce Cheney and Leo Gorfito. Number 4, Car Trouble, owned by Don Cromer with Elliott Deaton. 5, Creole, owned by Eddie George and David Miller. 6, Sold on You, owned by Roland Rue with Mike Wilder. 7 is Sun Devil Express, owned by Robert Wilson and George Villette, and the rangeman is Ron Steck. 8, Side Court, owned by Big Chuck Grubbs. Brad Hanners drives 9, Eavesdrop, owned by Ira Kreitzer with Jody Essig. 10, Miss Predator, owned by Roger Wheeler. Dave Hawk will be in the field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Lona is off stride before the start, quickly taking the lead. Creole, Side Court, middle of the racetrack, and Sun Devil Express. 3 mares kick out for the lead. Side Court is going to get tested here tonight as Creole is being sent and sent hard. Creole on top, Side Court, 3 deep second, tucking in there the Sun Devil Express to third. Top turn, Sold on You, fourth. Next in line, Car Trouble to fifth. Next, the newcomer, Patty Ty, moving by the opening quarter in 28 and 2. Further back in the field as they make their way past the quarter-mile pole, Right Moves Macho. She had the rail, couldn't go on at all. Here comes Miss Predator from the second tier. Long shot, Eavesdrop, far back the breaker, Lona. 9 are on gate and well bunched around the clubhouse turn with her head down and chugging right along its Side Court. Side Court where she likes it best. Out on top is leading away by a length. Stalking in second, Creole. First up on the outside, Sold on You. They're at the half in 58 and 4. 9 are double-deckered, leaving the 5/8, heading to 3/4. Still in command, a 2-1 co-favorite. In fact, she's a favorite by $1 on the board. Side Court leads the way. Here comes Right Moves Macho, sweeping up on the far outside as they pace into the strong headwind. Sold on You now gets the lead. Sold on You on top by a nose. Right Moves Macho alongside. Side Court tries to fight back. Creole got doubled up, nowhere to go, waiting for the passing lane. Here comes Miss Predator, locked in behind a wall of horses, and this one is really wide open by 3/4. 128 and 4, top of the stretch. They're in the stretch. Sold on You with a short lead. Side Court gives way. Right Moves Macho, Miss Predator. Creole shakes free, might be too little, too late. It's a double for Mike Wilder. Sold on You. Creole second. Miss Predator will finish third. Here comes the winner, number 6, Sold on You, a 7-year-old chestnut mare by landslide out of Downwind Serene. Owned in Columbus by Roland Rue, trained by Virgil Morgan, hard driven tonight by Mike Wilder. Covering that mile in 158 and 1. Number 6, Sold on You, the winner of tonight's fourth race, and a driving double tonight for Mike Wilder. He won the first race tonight with Look Annie. Post time will be at 9:01. We do have a presentation. In fact, we have 2. The first one will go to VFW Post 1598 and William J. Craycraft. No changes in tonight's fifth race. First half of the twin trifecta. Folks, at this time, we want to direct your attention to the trackside winner's circle where we have Mrs. Laverne Hill, Bob Steele, and Jim Ewart representing Scioto Downs. They'll be in the winner's circle to meet and greet driver David Miller and trainer Virgil Morgan Jr., who wrapped up the Scioto Downs portion of the 1997 meet, which ended last Saturday, July the 12th, right where they finished up last season on top. David broke his own single-season record for wins, guiding 108 horses to the winner's circle during the 61 nights of racing. He had set the previous record of 97 winners in 1994. This is the 7th consecutive Scioto Downs title for Dave Miller, and he'll be gunning for his 7th consecutive Mid-America Racing Association title, which we began this past Monday night. The Mara portion of the 1997 meet runs 54 dates and will end on closing night, September the 13th. Miller posted a hefty 408 UDRS during the Scioto Downs meeting and a win percentage of over 26% from his 400 starters. Virgil Morgan, taking his 3rd consecutive Scioto title, set a new standard for trainers during the meet, as well as he sent out 35 winners from 153 starters. The previous record was 34 sent out by Gene Regal in both 1984 and 85. Virgil was followed in the standings by Jim Arledge Jr. with 19, Dan Ader with 13. Both Morgan and Arledge had a 22.9 win percentage rate. Second in the driver's standings was Brad Hanners. Jeff Fout finished 3rd. Post time in 14 minutes. Number 1, Bam, She's Out. Owned by Charles Park and Emerald Lagasse, driven by Sandy Beatty. 2, Lake Hills Jerry, owned by Ronald Hughes and Selden Ledford with Mike Wilder. 3, Seasoned Jockey, owned by Alice Kidd, driven tonight by Jody Essig. 4, Halcyon's Prelude, owned by Vicky Ledard with Bill Walters aboard. 5, Fruity, owned by Jeffrey Cornett. David Miller will be in the bike. 6, Colleen's Candy Cam, owned by Robert and Sandra Johnson with Randy Tharps. 7, Truly Sam's, owned by Eldon Peterson with Jim Potter. 8 is Eden Eyes, owned by Ralph Sexton and Francis Thomas with Brad Hanners. Here comes the 9, Kankakee, owned by James Mershad and Carl Sharp with Rick Heitman. 10, Rembrandt's Jessica, owned by Jim Chaliff and Michael Van Autreve. Dave Hawk will be in the sulky. Field 4, race 5 makes that final turn on their way back to the starting gate. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Lake Hills Jerry between horses takes the lead. Halcyon's Prelude looking for a seat, can't go on. Here comes Bam, She's Out. Using that rail advantage, takes over second. Halcyon's Prelude off the pace, the 3rd out of the 2nd tier. Rembrandt's Jessica is 4. She comes to the outside. She's a Jockey is 5th. Next in line comes Fruity. 2 more lengths, Colleen's Candy Cam. Truly Sam's, Eden Eyes, and Kankakee. Realistic pace here by the opening quarter, 28-4. Moving past the stands to the half-mile pole. Rembrandt's Jessica up on the outside, brushes to the front. Rembrandt's Jessica is there by 2. Lake Hills Jerry stalking in 2nd. Prompting 3rd, Bam, She's Out. Halcyon's Prelude and She's a Jockey. 2nd division from 6 back, Fruity, Colleen's Candy Cam. Truly Sam's, Eden Eyes, and Kankakee. They're at the half-mile pole. Up top, it's Rembrandt's Jessica for Dave Hawk in 58 flat. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Nearest the rail, Rembrandt's Jessica by a half a length. Bam! She's Out and moving now, gets the lead. Bam! She's Out now, takes off with a length and a half advantage. Rembrandt's Jessica is 2nd. Moving up on the outside, She's a Jockey to 3rd. Lake Hills Jerry 4th. They're into 3/4. Bam, She's Out opens up about 2. 3 lengths in 1:26-3. Moving around the far turn. Bam, She's Out under confident handling, controls the front end. Rembrandt's Jessica is 2nd. Moving up on the outside, She's a Jockey to 3rd. Off the rail, Lake Hills Jerry 4th. They're into the stretch, and the 1 is getting a little limber-legged. She blows the lead, and here She's a Jockey quickly taking over. She's a Jockey's got the lead by a good margin. Lake Hills Jerry shaking free Halcyon's Prelude. She's a Jockey in front. Tonight's fifth race sponsored by VFW Post 34, 24, and Thomas C. Spradlin. They were on hand in the winner's circle to meet and greet Jody Essig, and she's a jockey. 6-year-old chestnut mare by Jockey Hanover out of Ellen Facta. $417.20, $417.20. Here's a field for race 6, 5 minutes till post. One score right to the gate, one Noble Jewel. Owned by John LeGros, David Miller drives. 2 Honey Bun Osborne, owned by Herbie Brown and Doug Routsong. 3 Pocket Edition, and leased by Sherry Myers with Jody Essig. 4 Show Me Love, owned by Kurt Loaning. Dave Hawk will be aboard. 5 is Ultra Sabra, owned by Richard Ward and Paul Wonder with Mike Wilder in the bike. 6 Syzygy Bluegrass, owned by Dr. Lowell Overstreet with Jason Brewer. 7 is Moretta, owned by Mike Metters with Brad Hanners. 8 Pans Peanut Butter, owned by Fred Merriman. Jerry Kutchback Jr. will be in the sulky. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Ultra Sabra with a rush between horses takes the lead. Noble Jewel along the rail. Here comes Moretta. Driving up on the outside third. They're down the backstretch. The 1 Noble Jewel is a little bit rough as she tries to settle. As they move to the quarter-mile pole, we're on the front end. Moretta driving wide and hard, gets the lead. Here comes Pan's Peanut Butter. Crunching up on the outside. Second along the rail, Ultra Sabra and Noble Jewel. Honey Bun Osborne, Pocket Edition, Show Me Love, and the newcomer Syzygy Bluegrass. 28-3, too deep past the stands. Pan's Peanut Butter on the outside, brushes to the front. Pan's Peanut Butter on top, a length and a half. Moretta will stalk in second. Tucked in there third, Ultra Sabra. The 1 is trying to run at every stage. That's Noble Jewel as they make their way through the paddock turn. Honey Bun Osborne circles up on the outside, tipping and rolling Pocket Edition. Show Me Love and Syzygy Bluegrass. 57 flat there down the backstretch. Still in command, Pan's Peanut Butter by a length. Ultra Sabra is going to come again. Moretta will have to wait for the passing lane now. Honey Bun Osborne has some live cover, picking up the train. Pocket Edition. Nowhere to go for Noble Jewel as Pan's Peanut Butter is about ready to stop to a walk. As they race by 3/4, blowing into the lead. Ultra Sabra picking up the chase. Honey Bun Osborne by 3/4, 126-4. Moving around the far turn. Honey Bun Osborne gets the lead by a head. Fighting back, Ultra Sabra second. Take a long look at Jody Essig. Here comes Pocket Edition rolling up on the far outside. They're into the stretch, and the Hawkman's now flying with Show Me Love. Show Me Love now gets the lead along the rail. Pocket Edition is up on the outside. Pocket Edition coming back to get it. Official winner number 3, Pocket Edition, a 4-year-old bay mare by Troublemaker out of Editor's Choice. Leased and trained in South Charleston by Sherry Myers. Given a well-judged drive tonight by Jody Essig. Covering the mile here in 156-3 to equal her lifetime best. Number 3, Pocket Edition, the winner of tonight's 6th race. In the winner's circle from the VFW department, Mr. Roger Taylor. Windows are now open on race 7. Scratch number 3, Velvet Viking Sick. This is the last change as we speak right now in the program. Here comes the field for tonight's 7th race. Trophy by VFW District and Ray Jones. 3, Velvet Viking Scratch. 1, Tucson Gwenny. Owned by Asim Payson Stables, Lisa Grubik, Jeff Rector, and Ned Hodgkinson with Brad Hanners. Number 2, Thrifty Rose, owned by Jim Chaliff and Michael Van Autree with driver Mike Wilder. 3, Velvet Viking has been scratched. 4, Bikini Bird, owned by Doug Parker and Harry Berger. Darren Mauser will be aboard. 5, KC's Lil Sis, owned by James and Sybil Shazam. Mike Metters, Randy Tharps in the bike. 6, Aim Too High, owned by Donald Peters with Ron Steck. 7, Bow Me Over, owned by Catherine Ann Shale with David Miller. 8 is Sweet Iris, owned by Bill M. with Dave Hawk. Number 9, Earn a Livin', owned by Lowell Prickett with Mark Evers. 10, Odd Efficacy, owned by Pacey Minland, Ken Cohen. Jody Essig will be in the sulky. Scratch number 3, Velvet Viking, post time in 4 minutes. Starting gate is underway. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Bikini Bird, Tucson, Gwenny out for lead. There goes Bomey over middle of the racetrack, and Thrifty Rose to fourth. Out of the second tier, Odd Efficacy as Bomey over makes the nasty break and has jumped off stride. And they're on their way to the opening quarter-mile pole. Driving away on top from the outside, leading away by 2, Bikini Bird. Tucson, Gwenny is second. Driving up on the outside, Erna Livin to third. Racing for Thrifty Rose are by the opening quarter in 28-1. They're 2 deep past the stands. Tucson, Gwenny up on the outside. Bikini Bird along the rail. Matching stride for the lead. Here's Erna Living driving wide and hard to third. Thrifty Rose is fourth. Moving up on the outside, KC's Lil Sis. Odd Efficacy got pinned in along the rail. Driving up on the outside, Aim Too High. The 8 is rolling. Sweet Iris and Bomey over. The break cost her action galore here. They're at the half-mile pole. Tucson, Gwenny, even money favorite, has command at the half. In 58-4, they're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Tucson, Gwenny by a head. Erna Livin the big mile in second. Here comes the wave on the outside, led by KC's Lil Sis. Bikini Bird along the rail. Here's Ron Steck, Aim Too High up on the outside. Sweet Iris is now closing between horses. Thrifty Rose, Odd Efficacy, and Bomey over. As they move by 3/4, Tucson Gwenny will have to fend off some challenges in the final quarter. She went by 3 of them, 128-4. Moving around the far turn, KC's Lil Sis on the outside. Tucson Gwenny on the rail. Bikini Bird is next. Up on the outside, Aim Too High. Sweet Iris on the far outside. They're into the stretch. Tucson Gwenny right alongside KC's Lil Sis. Sweet Iris closing a ton on the outside, and Bikini Bird. It's Bikini Bird now getting the lead. They're on hand in the winner's circle to meet and greet the winner of the 7th race, number 4, Bikini Bird, Darren Mauser. Bikini Bird, a 5-year-old bay mare by Beach Towel out of Robin Redbreast, owned by Doug Parker and Harry Berger of Canal, Winchester, and Columbus. Trained by Doug Parker, given a well-judged drive by Darren Mauser. Covering that mile in 1:58. That's a lifetime best for number 4, Bikini Bird, the winner. The 4-1 exacta, $48.80, $48.80. The twin trifecta carryover, $67.22. Well, the regular try here, $185.40. Windows are open on the 8th. Welcoming VFW post number 3320 and David R. LeBeau. No changes on the balance of the program. Number 1 is Baroque Bogart, owned by Tanya and Ted Parker. Jody Essig drives. 2, Carol G, owned by Jack Ader with Dan Ader. 3, Still Going, owned by Magic Touch and Earl Hicks with David Hawk. Number 4, Get Along Gretchen, owned by Virgil and Linda Hensley Hall with Mike Wilder. 5 is Grand Scooter, owned by Steve Hettinger with Bob Harper. Number 6, Heart of the Matter, owned by Springhaven Farm with David Miller. 7 is Rumble Seat Rhonda, owned by Marilyn Guild, Jody Trutt, Doug Guild, and Dan Mosier with David Myers. Number 8 is Fax Queen, owned by Fred Schroeder Jr. Charlie Conrad will be in the sulky. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Carol G takes the lead. Heart of the Matter on the far outside, right to the front. Heart of the Matter drives away on top, a length and a half. Carol G, second. Baroque Bogart is in the third. We got some hard ball in here between Dave Miller and Dan Ader. They're on their way to the quarter. Heart of the Matter getting starched pretty good. Carol G stinging her from second. After that, Baroque Bogart is into third. Followed by Still Going, Get Along Gretchen, Grand Scooter, Rumble Seat, Rhonda, and Fax Queen. 27-2. They light it up in here. Past the stands. Heart of the Matter secures the top, a length and a half. Carol G will stalk from second. A close-up third, Baroque Bogart. 2 more lengths Still Going, about ready to come to the outside. Get Along Gretchen is underway. Staying in, Grand Scooter from the back. Fax Queen and Rumble Seat, Rhonda. Around the clubhouse, turn to the half-mile pole. Heart of the Matter, 1-5. Favorite is just bouncing right along. Carol G on her heels in second, 57-4 up the backstretch. Field is now double-decker, still in command. Heart of the Matter, Carol G skimming the pylons in the deuce. Moving up on the outside, Get Along Gretchen uncovered to third. Baroque Bogart nowhere to go in fourth. Here comes Fax Queen up on the outside. Underway, Rumble Seat. Rhonda still going, got trapped. Far outside, Grand Scooter. Side by side and stride for stride, racing by 3/4. Heart of the Matter is there in a solid 127-3. Around the far turn. Heart of the Matter on top now by a length and a half, and Dave Miller's got the whip on his shoulder right now. Carol G punchless when it counts. Driving up on the outside, Fax Queen, Rumble Seat, Rhonda on the far outside. Under confident handling, Heart of the Matter is all alone. Heart of the Matter, Fax Queen up on the outside, Rumble Seat, Rhonda is coming on third. In the winner's circle, as a result of the eighth, is now official. David R. LeBeau and their friends from VFW Post 3320. On hand in the winner's circle to meet and greet the winner of the eighth, 6 Heart of the Matter. 3-year-old Black Filly by Matt Scooter out of Olivia Lobel. Owned in Utica, Ohio by the Springhaven Farm, trained by Del Criswell. Driven coast to coast by David Miller, covering the mile in 156. 3 in a row on the front end for the 6 Heart of the Matter. 6-8 exacta, returning $37.20, $37 even, make it 37 even. Here's a field for race 9, Filly and Mare Open, VFW Post 2505, and here's the one, Linda Linnell. Owned by Charles Blankenship, Jody Essig drives. Number 2 is Gemini Jezebel. Owned by Stephen Gibson with Dave Hawk. 3 Quick Dispatch, owned by Jen and Ken Adamski, and the reinsman is Mark Grismore. 4 King's First Lady, owned by Barbara King with David Miller. 5 Deep Blue, owned by Fred Merriman and Jerry Kutchback. 6 Mudge's Molly, owned by the Martin Racing Incorporated with Brad Hanners. 7 is Tinsel Ann, owned by Charles Watson and Mike Wilder. 8 Wild Rain, owned by Lionel Ray Wadaker with Randy Tharps in the sulky. Field for the 9th, co-featured pace of the evening, 6 minutes till pub. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Quick Dispatch takes the lead. Deep Blue, middle of the racetrack. Linda Linnell along the rail. Gemini Jezebel with King's First Lady. They're down the backstretch. Mudge's Molly, Tinsel Ann wide to the outside. Wild Rain is the trailer, and we're off to the rodeo here. Jerry Kutchback grabbing leather because he's never going to make the front with this group. They're into the quarter-mile pole. Quick Dispatch on top. Deep Blue in deep trouble. They're by the opening quarter. They're flying 26-4, and the closers are already salivating, speeding past the stands under the whip. Deep Blue on the outside. Quick Dispatch is right alongside in second. Linda Linnell is third, followed by Gemini Jezebel in fourth. King's First Lady set sail from the rail, underway. Mudge's Molly, Tinsel Ann, and Wild Rain, and the teletimer is going to be on tilt in about 3 seconds as they scorch the half. 55-2 up the backstretch. Quick Dispatch puts away Deep Blue, flying. King's First Ladies up on the outside. Linda Linnell got trapped along the rail, followed by Mudge's Molly on the far outside as they race to 3/4. King's First Lady with a short lead. Quick Dispatch is next. Here comes Mudge's Molly up on the far outside. Linda Linnell better wait for the passing lane on the extreme outside. Tinsel Ann. Keep a long look on Randy Tharps and Wild Rain as they wend their way through heavy traffic. 125-2 around the far turn. King's First Lady has the lead by a nose. Right alongside in second, Mudge's Molly. This one is wide open, straightening away. Far outside, Mudge's Molly now gets the lead. Up on the far outside, Gemini Jezebel. Tinsel Ann is in the center. It's Mudge's Molly tight for second between Tinsel Ann and King's First Lady. comes Brad Hanners and 6 Mudge's Molly, a 4-year-old bay mare by Incredible Finale out of Mudge's Shannon. Bred in Illinois by Martin Racing of Germantown, Ohio, trained by Daryl Collins. Driven tonight by Brad Hanners, covering the mile in 155. Number 6 Mudge's Molly, the winner of tonight's 9th race. James L. Scott making the VFW Post 2505 trophy presentation. Here's the rundown. Linda Linnell was 7th. Gemini Jezebel 4th. Quick Dispatch was 6th. King's First Lady finished 3rd. Deep Blue 8th. Mudge's Molly the winner. Tinsel Ann was 2nd. And Wild Rain 5th. 7, 4, 6, 3, 8, 1, 2, and 5, and the mile was 155. Number 1 is All Out of Love, owned by James Borchers, driven by Dave Hawk. 2 is Goodnight Dream, owned by Tim Lee and Ron Steck. 3, Whack Attack, owned by Allison Hensler, and the rangeman is Bob Harper. Number 4, Love You Perfect, owned by Beverly Buchelman and David Miller. Number 5, Shadow Lane Hanover, owned by Robert Del Bianco and Brad Hanners. 6 is Mary Maker, owned by Russell Hare and Woody Woodward with Ryan Houghton. 7 is Tucson Princess, owned by Richard Stevens and Sal Nacera with Randy Tharps. Here comes the 8, Romy Ann, owned by Fred Bates and driver Dave Rankin, who will be in the sulky. No changes on the final 3. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. All Out of Love takes the lead with a rush on the outside. There goes Shadow Lane Hanover. Middle of the racetrack, Whack Attacking toward the rail. Goodnight Dream is in the 4th. Followed by Love You Perfect, Mary Maker, Tucson Princess, Romy Ann. The Hawkman wants the top with the Air Supply mare, All Out of Love. All Out of Love has the lead by 2. Shadow Lane Hanover accepts the 2-hole. Duck and Tuck in the press box favorite. Whack Attack is in the 3rd. They open up here in a quick 27 flats, speeding past the stands. All Out of Love has the lead by a length and a half. Shadow Lane Hanover will get the Golden Journey in 2nd. Whack Attack in 3rd. Goodnight Dream may have a nightmare journey as she comes to the outside. First up, flushing her, Dave Miller and Love You Perfect. Mary Maker also set sail, saving ground, Tucson Princess, Romy Ann. 8th on the outside, they're all in pursuit of Dave Hawk and All Out of Love. Driving up on the outside, Goodnight Dream, they're at the half in 57 3. Straightening out for their long journey down the backstretch. All Out of Love, who got hammered down to 6 to 5, has got the top. Goodnight Dream, eyes are up on the outside. 2nd, Shadow Lane Hanover. Skimming the pylons in 3rd, Love You Perfect, 2nd over. Nearest the rail, Whack Attack is in the 5th. Followed by Mary Maker, Tucson Princess, Romy Ann with 5 to make up. Double-deckered into 3/4. All Out of Love continues to lead in a good 126 1. Around the far turn. All Out of Love trying to make every pole winning one, leads the way. Cocked, locked, and ready to rock. Shadow Lane Hanover with the absolutely no excuse journey tonight. They're into the stretch. Shadow Lane Hanover up on the outside. All Out of Love along the rail. Whack Attack is in between horses. Shadow Lane Hanover now gets the lead. Shadow Lane Hanover close for 2nd between Whack Attack and All Out of Love. Hanover, a 4-year-old bay mare by Jate Lobel out of Charlotte Newton. Owned and trained in Columbus by Robert Del Bianco, giving a ground-saving drive tonight by Brad Hanners. Covering that mile in 155 3/5, Shadow Lane Hanover. The unofficial winner, 3, Whack Attack, got up 2nd. Finishing 3rd, number 1, All Out of Love, and 2, Goodnight Dream was 4th. That's a couple tonight. Brad Hanners on hand in the winner's circle to meet Rodell B. Francisco, VFW Post 1380. Windows are now open on race 11. Trader Bud's Westside Dodge, Philia Mare Preferred for $10,000. Field of 6 and no changes. 12th and final will be the Superfecta. Post time will be upcoming here when the result has been made official and the payoffs posted. Exacta 122.20, 122.20. The try 520.40. Number 1 is Waiting for You, owned by Hall Investment Company, driven by David Myers. Number 2, She's a Farm Girl, owned by Mark Perrin and David Ram with Jody Essig. 3, Sassy Abu, owned by Kim Gottfried, Mary Wolf, and Larry Coder and Dave Hawk. 4, Robin Lag, owned by Shakiri A. Patel and Jack Franklin. 5, Mudges Elisa Gale, owned by the Martin Racing Incorporated with Brad Henners. 6, Middle March, owned by James Borchers. Bill Walters will be in the sulky. Fillies and mares for race 11, post time in 6 minutes. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Robin Lag's going to get an easy lead in here as Sassy Abu is off stride. They're down the backstretch. Robin Lag quickly grabs the racetrack. Waiting for You is in the second, followed by She's a Farm Girl third. Mudges Elisa Gale fourth. Middle March is fifth. Sassy Abu quickly gathers herself, catches stride, and has caught the other 5 as they move by the opening quarter. Not much tempo here as Jack Franklin already has his 3-year-old filly geared down, 28-4. As Yogi would say, it looks like it's going to be deja vu all over again, but here comes action from the back of the pack, and Middle March is under a drive. But under confident handling, Robin Lag continues to lead the way. Waiting for You second. Middle March better be pretty good tonight from third as they wheel around that paddock turn. Head of the half-mile pole, Mudges Elisa Gale follows the favorite. After that, She's a Farm Girl and Sassy Abu. They're at the half, 58-2. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Robin Lag will be tough to handle from here. Middle March still attacking on the outside, second. Waiting for You third. She's a Farm Girl crying to get out of fourth. Mudges Elisa Gale stalking on the outside, and at the end it's Sassy Abu. Hub to hub as they race to 3/4. Robin Lag looking to extend that streak, continues to show her heels to the field, 126-2. Flying solo tonight on the front end, Jack Franklin and Robin Lag. Middle March is now being asked for her best. Cocked, locked, and ready to rock along the rail, Waiting for You. Off the turn, in the stretch, and they're on their way home. Jack Franklin draws the sword. Robin Lag, Middle March, Waiting for You, deep stretch. It's Yogi Berra time. Robin Lag rocks to victory. The unofficial winner of race 11 for Robin Lag. 3-year-old Roan filly by Lag out of Robin Redbreast. Owned in Springfield by Shakiri A. Patel. Driven and trained coast to coast by Jack Franklin. Covering them out here in 155, making it 3 in a row for number 4, Robin Lag. The unofficial winner is now official of tonight's 11th race. Post time for tonight's 12th and final in 15 minutes at 11:23. Had a couple of half-sisters win on the program. Robin Lag, Dam Robin Redbreast, and earlier on tonight in race number 6, race number 7, Bikini Bird by Beach Towel. A couple of half-sisters win on tonight's program. Post time in 15 minutes at 11:23. Here comes the field for tonight's 12th and final race, Superfecta Wagering. Kathy McDonald brings the field to the post with number 1, a Bud Light Bluegrass. Leash driven and trained by Jason Brewer, 2, Carbohydrate. Owned by Ann Hildebrand with Brad Hanners, 3, Tucson Direct. Owned by John Landon, and the rangeman is Dave Hawk, 4, Route 80. Owned by Fred Schroeder, along with the driver Charlie Conrad. 5, Party Pam, owned by Troy Brown. David Miller will be in the bike. 6, My Flirt, owned and driven by Frank Reinhardt. 7, Johanna, owned by Bob Griffith with Hugh Beatty Jr. Number 8 is Sunny Sally, owned by Ira Kreitzer and Jody Essig. 9, Renfield Sweet, owned by Cora Norman with Randy Tharps. And number 10 is Never So Rich, owned by Merle Moore. Darren Mauser will be in the sulky. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Party Pam, Johanna away safely. Middle of the racetrack. Tucson Direct. They're down the backstretch. Carbohydrate moving in to be fifth. That's a Bud Light Bluegrass. Followed by Never So Rich. After that, it's Route 80 as they move to the turn. My Flirt. Sunny Sally and Renfield Sweet. They're driving wide and hard, and they're grabbing leather to get to the inside. Moving away on top by an easy 2. It's Dave Hawk and Tucson Direct as they open up here in 27 and 1. They're off that top turn and racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Out on top, it's Tucson Direct by a length and a half. Party Hardy Pam is second, followed by Carbohydrate, the Protein Trip in third. Johanna comes to the outside. Nowhere to go for a Bud Light Bluegrass. Here's Never So Rich being carted up on the outside. Route 80 is set sail. Here comes Sunny Sally at 8th. Long Shot is 9th. My Flirt 10th on the outside. Renfield Sweet. They're at the half in a good 57 and 4. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Tucson Direct leads the way. Johanna Lives on the outside second. Party Pam skimming the pylons in third. Never So Rich on the outside fourth, and Carbohydrate fifth. A Bud Light Bluegrass with My Flirt into seventh. Route 80 dropping back eighth. Sunny Sally ninth on the outside, and Renfield Sweet as Johanna now zooms to the lead in 1:27 and 1 around the far turn. Johanna on top. Never So Rich comes to the outside, dropping back Tucson Direct around the far turn to the head of the stretch. Never So Rich on the outside of Johanna. Here's Renfield Sweet moving up on the far outside, looking for part of this. Darren Mauser's got the high line going on Never So Rich. Johanna still attacking with every stride. Party Pam, and here's Renfield Sweet. Never So Rich in front. Five-year-old brown mare by Ever So Rich out of Kate and Edith 2.